There are 10 steps that I took to become a millionaire, and I want to share them with you. I believe it's incredibly important to understand the life stories of many people, especially if you want to become successful. In this segment, I'm going to share with you 10 things that I personally did so that you can understand what you need to do in order to reach the highest goals you wish to pursue. The first thing I did was I put my entire faith in Jesus Christ. What I understood early on, at the age of 21, was that the Bible was the infallible Word of God. Now, I didn't know anything about God until I read the Bible. A lot of people think that they can find God at church, through music, and through experiences, which can be true. But for me, when I read the book of Mark, it changed my life. And when I got to Mark 9:23, I firmly believed that Jesus Christ was Lord, because it said all things are possible to those that believe it. I saw a lot of miracles that came after that, and I firmly believe in Jesus Christ and will continue to for the rest of my life. The second thing I do every single day is I read my Bible. I've read the Bible at least a dozen times completely, and I've read the Gospels hundreds of times. And what I can tell you is that within these 66 books written by 40 different authors in 3 different languages, you will learn incredible amounts of wisdom, you will gain understanding, and you will have access to the highest truth. The Bible is a life changer. And for me, I read it every single day for at least 30 minutes. Most times I read it for an hour, but I try to get it in for at least 30 minutes because I know it's beneficial to my soul. The third thing that I do is that I write down my goals every single day. Every single day without fail, I write down the 3 things that I have to do no matter what. Now, I'm not talking about little things like brushing my teeth or working out or eating food. I'm talking about monumental steps of action. Now, of course, there's many more than 3 things that I have to do, but what I learned is sometimes less is more. When you focus first on what matters most, you can prioritize, organize, and also accomplish all the things that you've set yourself to do. The fourth step I took to become a millionaire was that I read 100 books a year. Now that I have a business and a family, I can only read a little more than 50 books a year. But when I became a student for the first time, for 3 straight years, I read 100 books a year. I remember ordering books and my parents thought I was crazy. They said, "Why are you wasting all your money?" I said, "I gotta learn." I put every single dollar back into myself so I can pour it back into everyone else. I've read so many books that the things that I learned back then, I could never forget. You know, once you learn something, you can't really unlearn it. It becomes a part of you. And that's what you get when you read a lot of books. The 5th step I took to become a millionaire was that I learned everything I could about business. I remember within those first 3 years, I called every single entrepreneur I could find and I asked them a ton of questions. I learned about sales, marketing, branding, negotiation, building a team. Even to this day, I still do. I was in a restaurant the other day and I said, "Give me a tour of your kitchen." And he delightfully did so. Then I asked about his wine. I asked his staff some questions. I learned a lot about that restaurant. You never stop learning, especially when it comes to business. The 6th thing that I did was I committed to gaining new skills. There's every single person in the world has a skill. We have a talent, an ability, something that we're good at. But you have to prioritize what your skills are. And not only that, you have to master your skills. But in order to master your skills, you have to decide which ones are of the most importance. If you're gifted at singing, you don't want to spend a lot of time cooking. If you're gifted at writing, you don't want to spend a lot of time cleaning. Those skills are important, but they're incompatible to the person that you want to become in the future. Now, you have to do them once in a while, but you don't want it to take all your energy because energy is very important, especially when it comes to building skills. The 7th thing that I did was that I found a millionaire mentor. Now, I had asked a lot of people to mentor me when I began, but what happened was that I realized that if I wanted to be mentored by someone successful, I would have to pay a price. I remember asking someone to mentor me and they threw this huge price at me, but the way they did it was a major turnoff. I said to myself, I would never do anything like that to anyone. Now, I had to ask a lot of people, and finally, one person said yes. When I decided to hire my mentor, I was so broke that I had to use my credit and sell my car in order to make it work. But what I learned was that this was the sacrifice that I had to make to become the person that I wanted to be. And I went from making $2,000 to $3,000 a month to $5,000 to $10,000 and beyond. Now, obviously, I make much more than that now, but the point is that in order for you to take a massive leap and grow into the person you want to be, you need to find a mentor who can take you to that destination. The eighth thing that I did was I took massive action. But not only did I take massive action, I made a lot of sacrifices. I got rid of some old friends that were holding me back. I stopped lying, cheating, cursing, stealing, watching pornography, smoking cigarettes, smoking weed. I changed all my habits. I started reading, going to conferences. I started giving speeches. Imagine how much can change if you dedicate yourself to the kind of person you want to be within the next 12 months. Make those tough sacrifices if you will, and I promise you, you won't regret it. Number 9, I invested aggressively, even when it was hard. You know what I learned is that if you're ever stuck, the next thing you have to do is you have to invest. And not just time or energy, but money. Anytime I got stuck, that's what I did. If I didn't invest in books, I invested in giving my last dollar to someone who was poor because I knew it would help them. Obviously, you want to come to a point where you invest in assets. You want to invest in things that make you grow. But being benevolent is very important too. There was a time where all I had was $10 and I gave it away. You see, God sees everything and He knows exactly what you're doing with your money. So make the right decisions and invest in the things that will help you and the other people around you. And the 10th thing I did was I gave more to others than they were able to give to me. When you study the millionaires and billionaires of this world, you'll notice that they give far more to others than others can ever give to them. Now, of course, some people do it in evil ways. We're not talking about those people. We're talking about good people. Or we're at least talking about people who look good or try to be good. Because not everyone is going to heaven, but people who are successful financially definitely serve more than they seek to be served. And that's the difference. I remember there was a time when I was giving everything I got, and when I thought I had nothing left, I kept on giving because I knew that this was the secret to my breakthrough. I knew that if I kept planting seeds, eventually I'll get more. If I used $100 in the right way, eventually I'll get 1,000. If I use 1,000 the right way, I'll get 10,000 and 100,000 and 1,000,000 and eventually 10 million, 100 million and 1 billion and beyond. It's the same thing with people. If you serve yourself first by learning about who you are and where you want to go, then eventually God will give you the opportunity to serve others. Then you'll serve 5 people a day, 10 people a day, 100 people a day, 1,000. I'm serving millions of people a week because I served one person a day. I started where I was, and now I'm where I'm at because of that decision. So there you go. Those are the 10 things that you have to do if you want to become successful. At least those are the 10 steps that I took. Would you recommend anything else? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Anyways, this is Daniel Aldie, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.